Hello and a very good afternoon to all of those who are joining me live. I'm Neha. On the 17th of September, Lok Sabha passed two contentious farm bills. So one, Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill 2020 and Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill 2020. And the third act, which is amending Essential Commodities Act, was passed on Tuesday. The fight is essentially over these three controversial farm bills. The first bill, as I mentioned earlier, the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill 2020, gives freedom to the farmers to sell their produce outside the designated places, while the other bill, which is the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services, provides the farmer an opportunity to enter into a contractual agreement with agri-business firms, wholesalers, etc., essentially with the buyer's entities. Now, these two bills are eliminating the monopoly of mandis and giving a choice to the farmer to get his scientific price or add his profit margin realistically. He can sell his produce directly from his own storage or place, which avoids transportation and other costs which were a burden on him till now. Trade area is taken away from the middlemen, including the APMC, which was dictating terms, and farmers was at their mercy in multiple ways. Many farmers, of course, there. The third bill does away with cereal, pulses, oil seeds, onion, potatoes from the essential list, which in the sense removes the imposition of stock holding limits. Do remember that such is the intensity of this particular issue right now that Union Minister Harsimrat Singh Kaur, while opposing the bill, announced a resignation against anti-farmer ordinances and legislation. That's what she calls it. The central government leaders tried their best to allay the fears of farmers, also to pacify those who are disgruntled, who continue to protest against the bills. Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar, while reassuring the farmers, stated that the legislation was in fact in the favor of farmers, since they will be freed from the restrictions of having to sell their produce at designated places. Now, many are touting the resignation of SDA leader to the post of cabinet minister as a tactical move by her party to gain the sympathy of farmers in Punjab. In Punjab, remember, Congress is in power and SDA is a partner of the NDA at the centre. So, SDA is also a rural agricultural based party where APMCs, mandis, etc. are making more profit by purchasing agri-based products. The reason why farmers are opposing it is they fear states will lose their revenue if the farmers sell their produce outside designated places. Of course, farmers and a few others why they're opposing it. This is one of the reasons, and the other reason also is the state in that case won't be able to collect mandi fees. If farmers enter into contract, this will weaken their ability to negotiate, and the recent ban on onion export makes it a bit difficult when it comes to implementation. Let's quickly take in an expert point of view at this point of time. Joining me over the phone line is Professor Chambi Puranik. Thank you very much, Professor Puranik, first of all, for talking to News 9. Now, break down these three bills for us. Please tell us what these bills mean for farmers, and why is there a severe opposition to it?
No, the opposition is, I would say, as you mentioned in your initial remark, it's a tactical move because, see, for SAD, though it's being partner of NDA, no, they have to survive within the context of Punjab. And, anything that the ruling party, the Congress party of Captain Amrit Singh, it is just, kind of routine opposition. For everything that the ruling party proposes, they will oppose. That is their, not only style of functioning, but also the role of opposition, because they don't have any other kind of critical or strong points also. So, therefore, coming back to your point of the three bills, the bill on agri-marketing, bill on contract farming, bill relating to commodities. All the three have to be taken together because, see, here the greatest advantage is the freedom for farmers to sell their products directly, not through intermediaries. But it doesn't rule out APMC or mandi or even others also to come, because ultimately the farmer decides on that. But it is free from overriding regulations and unexpected kind of obstacles that were there in the agricultural sector, especially for farmers' relief and all that. So it is not an anti-farmers ordinance or a law that's going to affect the farmers. Actually, if you recall, Dr. Swaminathan was always insisting on.
I was coming to that. Professor Puranik, the Farmers Association can revise their strategies to help farmers to get the right price. As per Dr. Swaminathan's report on price and improving the life of farmers on a sound and realistic basis of production cost and his fair margin of profit without being at the mercy or clutches of middlemen and others, who otherwise are exploiting them till now.
Yeah, see, the resignation of Minister Simrat Kaur is only a tactical move. But he is not in a position to, let us say, to defend the bill in front of Congress or as against Congress and in Punjab in the context. But in no other state there is an opposition like this. I will give you one small example. You see, mandis and the APMCs, what they used to do, they sell the same produce of the farmers to Food Corporation of India, and they used to charge 8.5% commission, which is not there in other parts of the country. It is only between 1.5 to 2 or 2. So that means to say, government to government transaction itself, they make 8.5%. Imagine the kind of disadvantage that the farmer has got if they sell it in open market or other small merchants and dealers and others. So this is one point which the Swaminathan Commission has been pointing out, that it should be 50% of the cost and 50% the profit margin for farmer. Why is that 50%? Because of the vagaries of weather and distress sale and the kind of crop failure and all that. So therefore, I think this has to be viewed from that angle, not as a political game. So I'm not surprised by the resignation of NDA partner. He has not. But
Professor Puranik, in that case, since we are seeing quite a lot of positive aspects to it, why are the farmers opposing it? Are they being misled?
No, farmers, if you convince them, and I think the bill is very clear that it has taken into consideration the scientific price which the Swaminathan Commission has recommended. Second, since 1945 or 47, same old British agricultural rules that are there, only small amendments were done. Why this kind of patchwork solutions were given? Because nobody looked into this in a holistic perception. So therefore, this present government, what is that is, APMCs may continue, but more channels are given. As you see, the monopoly of one APMC or mandi is removed. The trade area is broadened. See, I will give you one more example. They may agree with, they may have an agreement with the corporate or bigger trade area. Second is his own on-the-spot selling of the crops or producers. Third thing is online marketing. You see here, the mechanism of the price and the facilities that farmers get, they are, I think, most progressive. I would say it is a competitive price opportunity at the doorstep of the farmers. You see, this was not there earlier. He was handicapped. He had to go through the local kind of, feudal or semi-feudal or, stronghold of APMC and mandis and all that. So the price of produce, something which the farmer has definitely got, that has to be considered. So that's why I have no problem. But as you mentioned somewhere, the role of Raita Sanghas or the agricultural farmer association, they have to be alert and they should facilitate the farmers. They should not go to Vidhan Sabha or Parliament and sit on hunger strike. Now everything is in their hands. The opportunities are given to them. I would say it's the right bill at the right time, because as a student of public administration and a public affairs observer, I would say that this particular proposition or the reform.
But Professor Puranik, Bharatiya Kisan Union and the All India Kisan Sangharsh Coordination Committee are seeing this as a move which is aimed to help, in fact, the big corporate houses at the cost of farmers. How would you see it?
Yeah, see, the farmer is the ultimate deciding factor. When your farmer himself is in a position to choose the three options, supposing he chooses the online one, you see, that cluster of whatever farmers grouping below 5 acres, that also has to be considered. They can form a small local informal cooperative and make an agreement with the buyer. If they are not satisfied with the price, the minimum price that they have is their own final determining point, the basis. So here, the corporate sector cannot dictate, because it can only have an agreement for a year or two, like the sugarcane factories, in Maharashtra, the kind of operations that are going there. That lobby is very, very, very strong.
So,
it will avoid the lobbies. The lobbies have to be replaced by the agricultural farmers associations and other people who know what exactly happens to the farmers.
Right,
So
Professor Puranik, coming back, Professor Puranik, Mandi tax being a good source of revenue, another fear is that the state governments of Punjab and Haryana will lose their revenue. Will it be so?
No, because the state government lose revenue. That shows their fantastic ideas. You have to mobilize the resources and also minimize the expenditure, public expenditure. There are many other ways how to compensate this kind of whatever expected loss. The argument is a very fragile one, saying that we lose income and all that. By losing income, you are helping the farmer. He will not commit suicide. He will not be forced to distress sale, and he will have the ultimate say in the price. So that freedom, which I think which was long overdue, has been given. I think at the moment I would say ethically it is not correct, and there is no ideological basis also to oppose this particular bill because it gives freedom to the farmers. Only government. See, you can't expect everything to be done by government. You see, the Punjab government, why it charges 8.5% to FCI when the agricultural things are sold from state to the central government for food supplies and all that. So that means to say there is a kind of gap of communication as well as kind of understanding. So opposition sake for the opposition parties, that formula, I think I see that as a kind of a strong argument. Now, I don't see any other major argument.
Right.
Second is the vote bank politics. 100% it is the vote bank politics. And I will say Kisan
So are you trying to say that this is the politics at the cost of farmers?
Yeah, it is. It should not be. See, all the middlemen and the role either to what these or APMCs are saying, the farmers would have opposed it. Farmers for the mercy of these people. So why farmers are not opposing this? They are also, in a position to tell that also. You see, when the Green Revolution took place in Punjab, it took the clue that it can make more, get more revenue for the government. So after Green Revolution, things have changed. Today, the middlemen have become very strong, like the sugar lobby in Maharashtra. Same thing in Punjab. In other states, it is something very different. So I would say it is a welcome bill, and I think from the point of view of implementation, if there are any kind of lacunas or difficulties, the farmers can. But I think it's saying goodbye to the feudal approach. The feudal approach which was not removed. And by this legislation, I think the government has given more freedom to the farmers to decide how they go about and all that. Because farmers...
Right, there are many more other crucial details, of course, attached to it as well. For example, farmer is given freedom to choose from these three options, including APMC Mandi. He can opt for the best depending on that year's production and demand and, so on and so forth. But the advantage agreement is, of course, to ensure his price, and he can make it compulsory on his cost and profit basis as well. Thank you very much, Professor Puranik, for joining us with all of those important insights. So if there are problems in implementation, he can always insist, the farmer can always insist on his terms, and for that he should take the support of his agricultural associations. Today, that is, of course, that it weakens his negotiation power is too premature and hypothetical at present. That's what the experts are touting it as. He should also be ready with such contingencies in his price calculation for 2 to 3 years, including crop insurance coverage, but other fluctuations and issues can be sorted out by inserting, in fact, any other clause of review or periodic renewal, but he should ensure minimum risk as well, as he's given a free trade choice. Thank you very much for joining me with all of those important insights, Professor Puranik, and of course thank you to all of those as well who joined me live on the Facebook page of Newsline. If at all you like this video, do not forget to subscribe Newsline YouTube, like us on Newsline Instagram, Facebook as well as Twitter.